everyone, this is Butterfly Milkshakes, and welcome to my YouTube channel, where I'll be going over how-to art, as well as what it means to be an artist, and how to encourage others to be creative. So this will be the second episode of the how-to art series. My first one focused on my life before I went to Japan when I was 4.5 years old. And so the second episode will be focusing on my time in Japan, as well as a little bit afterwards when I moved back, and what that meant for me as a budding artist. So initially, being in Japan, at such a young age, I do want to say that my early drawings were basically the same things as what I had done before I left for Japan, which was, the kids' drawings and the doodlings and basically anything that the teacher told us to draw or to color. But those were things that I liked, and I think I liked them a lot because they just kind of, they make you slow down. They help you express yourself through colors. And I just really had a good time with that. I also want to throw in there that I also got a chance to work with some clay and a bit of sewing when I was in elementary school, so that was a lot of fun too. And funny enough, I did try to start sewing again much later in life, although to be honest, the only sewing I can do now is to pretty much fix clothes, and it's still considered pretty I guess beginner level still. But yeah, that's what I did for the most part. I don't think I really started trying to improve until maybe I was around, how old was I? Maybe 6? I watched a lot of cartoons that I liked a lot, and I was also surrounded by, anime and manga and comic books. And yeah, so those are some of the things that really inspired me. Oh, and I also loved animals too. So my first drawings that I tried to intentionally do to, I guess, get better, so to say, was to draw characters from TV shows that I liked, and to also draw animals and scenery and plants. And what I mean when I say try to intentionally draw something, I think this drawing book that I had during my Drawing 1 class in college kind of summarized it the best. The book talked about different levels that an artist reaches as they, I guess, grow up, so to say. It talked about how children, kind of start drawing for the sake of motor skills and the colors, they enjoy the lines, and it's just a fun activity. And then as they get older, they try to replicate what they see. So this was the level of my life where I was just kind of replicating what I saw, what I was interested in. And one of the things that I vividly remember to this day was being in church with, I think it was color pencils, and my mom also encouraged us to draw a lot too. So she was a big factor in keeping me drawing, especially in church when things got a little slow, because she understood that, children don't always understand what's being said or being preached in the sanctuary, which is one of the reasons why children's church exists. But for the times that we weren't in children's church, she would have us draw. And so I drew a scene I saw from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was the 2003 or 4 version. I guess it would still play as reruns, I guess, and we also had DVDs for it too, but it was the scene where it was a flashback of when they were babies and how they basically got knocked over into the sewers and became turtles. So I drew that scene and I was very proud of it. I colored it too. And so that was definitely one of the bigger imitation pieces that I tried to do. Yeah, that was a big one. As you can probably tell, I still remember it to this day, so it was pretty important to me. And I think as time went on, I focused more on animals than characters. Probably because of all of the animal books I read too. I think it was like half and half, but I also distinctly remember drawing a lot of animals because one of the series I liked was Warrior Cats by Aaron Hunter, actually. So that also took up a lot of my time as an artist. I actually tried drawing like comics of the series on my own, with storylines and characters of my own too. They technically were not good, but to be honest with you, I didn't really have a lot of patience to go through every single comic scene and draw out the characters like that. I still don't really have that patience to this day, which is one of the reasons why I don't really draw a lot of scenes on Instagram or just in general that you might have seen on my social media. It's a lot of standalone pieces, which I find it to be a blessing and a curse because people really like seeing stuff like that where characters interact with each other. So I might just have to do that more as time goes on, especially with this class I'm taking. We're doing character design now, and we're doing full body figures, so I guess I'll have to up my game, so to say. When we moved back to Japan, from Japan, when we moved back to the States, I still focused on a lot of scenes and animals. Those were still my biggest things, but I also kind of amped up my character design in the form of what they would call chibis. Now, chibis are, I guess, caricatures of characters, basically the mini versions of characters. I really like chibis a lot, and so it took me maybe about 30 to 45 minutes to finally have a template down to draw chibis on my own without references. That's another big thing. Please use references as a budding artist, or use help, basically. WikiHow was actually how I learned how to draw chibis, and it was very helpful to do, and I continue to draw chibis much way afterwards too. So yeah, that was what my life was in the States. Chibis, animals, scenery, occasionally more characters. I actually have a ton of character designs in my old sketchbooks. I might have to do a throwback, actually. That'd actually be a pretty good idea. If I do a throwback, you'll see the era of my life of, I guess, influences of the types of TV shows I watched in those days. And I'm kind of jumping all over the place because the episode after this one will be high school. So I'm basically covering, I moved back to Japan when I was about 8.5. Back from Japan to the States, when I was 8.5. And I went into high school when I was about 13. So I'm basically explaining 5 years worth of artistic things that I've done, in which, like I said in the previous episode, if there's anything that you want me to specifically talk about, please let me know in the comments, because I don't just want this to be some monologue, so to say, of just me talking about my life. It's important because I think sharing beginnings, especially with an audience that knows me and knows the type of work that I do, I think it's very important to kind of shed light on that and to kind of be transparent about how I came to this point of my life. But I also want to hear from you guys to make sure that if you have any questions that I'm answering them. If there's any specific part of my life that you want me to talk about, and even, I guess, the lower times of my artwork, because not everything was growth, exponential growth and a journey is not linear at all. In fact, I've had a lot of regression periods, and even right now, I'd say that I'm in a growth season right now, but before that I was in a pretty stagnant area, and I'm actually starting to feel the growing pains of moving out of that stagnant area. So please do ask me questions, probe me about what you want to know. And as I come to the end of this episode, I guess the final thing that I want to leave off with is to just, if I could take anything away from what I've said so far, following your interests will tell you what you wouldn't mind working on in the long run. Because to this day, I'm still very much a character person, a character design person. You've probably seen a lot of that in the past few years of my Instagram page. If you've known me before I started one, you probably have seen a lot of those too. But yeah, just chase your interests, because honestly, you can technically, once you get to a certain point, you can do basically anything. You get to a point where you figure out where you can basically do anything and everything. But when it comes to you and what will be sustainable for you in the long run, don't ever forget that deep down you have something that's for you. No matter who you work for, no matter what project you're given by someone else, no matter, even if you do a project that you give yourself that isn't necessarily your interest, never forget what truly interests you. Never think of it as too far away. Never think of it as stupid. Don't think of it as too small. Never think of it as too big, because I thought that way once. And it's honestly not a good feeling to feel like you have to let go of something that you believe doesn't have a place when it does. It was yours in the beginning, and it's yours to have. Decide when you want to pour into it, because if it's not now, it could be 10 years from now. So just remember to stay true to what you like. Stay true to who you decide to be, what you decide to pour into. And that concludes episode 2 of How To Art. Thank you everyone for having a listen to me kind of going about this trek of my life, these chapters of my life. It's kind of weird vocalizing all of it without jumping into everything. Because if you were to ask me like the specifics, like to just talk about my life from the beginning, there are so many things, there are too many things to talk about, honestly. Too many. And so but I love sharing each and every part of it. The good with the bad, the slow times and the fast times, because it's all very interesting. And I'm proud of what it's made me into now. So I appreciate having you all here. And I will be bringing episode 3 soon, so look forward to that. Good old high school. Wonderful high school. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, afternoon, nighttime, whatever time it is for you. And to just remember to stay encouraged. Be true to yourself, even when it seems hard. Hold on to it.